Okay, then, our first story. You know, a minimum wage is the lowest remuneration that employers can legally pay their employees. In our country, the minimum wage debate is the most contentious one. Members of Organized Labour walked out of the ongoing minimum wage negotiations after both the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, rejected an offer of 48,000 and 54,000 naira as the minimum wage. Now, the twosome described the offers as ridiculous. Question: would both the government and Labour ever meet somewhere in the middle? But first, let's hear from NLC President Joe Ajero. Let's go there now.
The government's proposal of a paltry 48,000 naira as the minimum wage does not only insult the sensibilities of Nigerian workers, but also falls significantly short of meeting our needs and aspirations. In contrast, organized private sector proposed an initial offer of 54,000, though it is worth noting that even the least paid workers in the private sectors receive 78,000 naira. As clearly stated by the organized private sector, highlighting the stark disparity between the proposed minimum wage and prevailing standards, further demonstrating the unwillingness of the employers and government to faithfully negotiate a fair national minimum wage for workers in Nigeria.
Yeah, Asoko, the question would be, would government and Labour ever meet somewhere in the middle at the rate we are going?
Well, at some point, they will have to, because Nigerians are desperately waiting for this to be done with. You know, it's been a long time coming, and based on the current economic realities, 30,000 cannot take anybody home, especially those who are the lower cadre. You know, when we want to talk about either the federal worker or even the state, even the private sector.
Yeah.
Yes, the private sector, maybe averagely, you know, a worker can take home like maybe 70,000 as something we call minimum wage. You know, but with 30,000, which is the official, the national minimum wage.
Asoko, but I'm sure you know that many states still cannot pay the 30,000.
Yes,
as we speak.
I know that is. We'll get to that point. You know. But for now, because of what happened yesterday, I know so many people will be waiting to say, no, government, that amount that the government actually, you know, dropped, in quotes, was too small. I don't want to use Ajero's words, ridiculous or not, because we still want him to go back to the negotiation table. The organized labor, the private sector also came up with 54,000 naira, you know, and I know federal government can go much higher. I still believe the federal government can go much higher.
If it wants to.
If it wants to, yeah. Because the federal workers are not that much.
They aren't as many as
states and even the private sector. So I know that they can still go back to the negotiation with the federal government so that we have something that everybody can now say, this is something that we can now live with. But them working out, they will still walk back inside the room. And
Jami, you know, with things like this, you get the impression we are a long way from home.
Yeah, the word home now is very critical here. Because the take-home pay of 30 can't take anybody even to the bus stop any longer. But I think Labour, especially NLC, must be reasonable with their demands. Can Ajero, that is asking for 15,000 minimum wage, can he afford to pay his driver or his gate man 600,000?
Have you agreed on that figure?
That's what he's asking for. That's what Labour is asking for. Now, see, what I'm saying, we should be reasonable.
Yeah.
Yes, there has been increase in fuel, electricity.
You don't say, yeah.
And what have you. Even pay-per-view, all those.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
I mean, they have all increased. Yes, we want minimum wage or the take-home pay to also
to be livable.
To reflect.
Yeah.
But I think I give kudos to the organized private sector, which is also a part of the.
I hear the tripartite.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, we should be reasonable. The organized labor says 54,000. That's the likes of a cadre, NECA, Nigeria Employers Consultative Council.
Yeah.
Because even this character is asking for 615,000. Most of them don't even go to the office. They don't go to the office. But the NECA that knows that, yes, people actually work and earn their pay, they are proposing 54,000, which is reasonable. So I expect the federal government to come up a bit from the 40,000.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Nigerians are seriously under pressure and we are pained. And people are bottling up a lot of
things.
A lot of things. And you see people just dropping dead anyhow because of anxiety. They don't even know what tomorrow
are you telling
brings
me?
Forth.
Asokwa, and Nigerians are waiting with bated breath, as they say.
Exactly. If you look at it, citizen, even the federal government, if you look at now, they are paying close to 65,000. 30,000 minimum wage plus 35.
It's not even close. That's what they are paying.
Wage award.
Yeah.
So it means that the federal government can still go higher. When once it comes to, if they go back to the drawing table, and then, I keep saying it, I know that the minimum wage will be between 100 and 150,000.
Yeah, just a minute to both of you gentlemen. Sometimes we talk about minimum wage and we look at the federal civil servant. What about the states?
See, for states, only about 10 or 12 states thereabout, I don't have the figure now, are paying the 30,000.
Okay.
Even with 18,000 then.
Oh, yeah.
That some, about 20 states are still paying their own salaries. Now, there was a mini drama on May 1 in Lagos when the Lagos State governor said that the state has been paying between 35 and 45,000 as wage award approved by the federal government. So people thought Lagos have started paying 70,000. And the news went round until the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Agbenga Omotosho, now made a clarification. So, yeah, people want higher pay. But like Azuko said earlier, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he is quite aware of the pains of Nigeria. So he appealed to states to also pay this 35 this wage allowance for 6 months. That caveat is there, 6 months. But if federal government can pay for 6 months, it can as well. Maybe think of if we can't continue to pay the 35,000, at least pay something close to that in addition to the 30,000, because the kind of we need a cushion to help us with the kind of shocks we've been receiving. Fuel subsidy removed. Electricity increase. Most people have become bandits now because because of the bans that they introduced. So, and the telecoms guys are also threatening to go up. Pay-per-view has gone up. Rent is going up. Everything is going up. So. There is no way.
And in my country, your country, when anything goes up, it hardly comes down.
It hardly. Even when naira managed to come below 1,000 to $1, prices were static. Now, naira is climbing. The naira is depreciating again. It's between 1,000 450 and 1,500 now to $1. I mean, prices are still going up.
Yeah. Asoko, we cannot at this point fail to talk about labor itself earning the trust of Nigerians.
Yeah,
if you understand what I mean.
Understand. Most Nigerians still don't trust labor, because anytime they say they want to do a particular thing, they buckle. So I know the majority of Nigerians back then used to, when once labor calls for strike or protest or something, they will stay in their houses. But these days, because of how the economy is, when once labor calls for protest, sit at home and all that, you still see some people still walking, going to their respective...
Couldn't be bothered.
They don't even care because they feel that the labor leaders, in quotes, would have gone behind to go and, do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, your country is a country of
think,
theorists and conspiracy theorists.
So that is why I'm saying that the labor leaders, yes, they might have worked out. You have to give Nigerians the confidence. I say, let Nigerians, have that confidence in you again. Go back to the negotiation table.
That's it.
Then begin to look at, okay, fine. Because I heard Joe Ajero saying that if you give me that amount, how will I... He was adding allowances inside the minimum wage. No, you can't add your housing allowance, transportation allowance.
Those are different now.
Those ones are out. In fact, after your minimum wage, you can now start adding other allowances into it.
Yeah.
That is how it's done.
Jamie, I asked this. I went into this because if you are at the negotiation table and something happens and you walk out, you're losing an element of confidence in the folks you are working for.
See, I started by saying that we should be reasonable in our demands. We have the NLC president,
Joe
Ajero, and we also have the
TUC
president, Usifo, Festus Usifo.
Yeah.
Usifo, I think, is somebody who is more inclined to being believed by Nigerians than Ajero, because Ajero has gone into so much politicking. The other day he went to him, he was beating blue, black. With Labour Party, now he's still fighting the Labour Party people over who is the chairman of the Labour Party. So we don't really know whether he's fighting for Nigerians or he has become a political activist, fighting, talking like a Labour Party person.
All right, gentlemen, we are joined by Suleiman. Suleiman is at Ibafor, next door here in Ogun State. Suleiman, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
How are you? I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, very good.
Go on.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, then.
I wish to express this opinion in addition to all that has been said so far. Please, let us be mathematical and magnanimous in our consideration of this matter. It is true, Ajero appears to have started out on a kind of radicalist tone. But let us always try to listen carefully and hear him out and consider issues as a coin that is two-sided. Please, even if you want to work on 54,000, a statute-backed model of the family in this country today is the man, the woman, and 4 children.
Yeah.
That is 6.
3. Yeah.
Now, prorate 54,000 to 6 people, because in most cases, it is one person that is working in the family. Now, 64,000 gives you 9,000 provision per person per month. That is in a 30-day month. That is 300 naira per person.
It doesn't actually work like that, Sulaiman.
Let me leave room for others to contribute. But
Okay, thank you, Sulaiman. We got you first time. Thank you. Our line is displayed, and you take advantage when it does. Thank you, Sulaiman. Okay, then, let's take this home. So, the NLC has rejected 48,000. The TUC has rejected 54, or the organized private sector. So who is saying what now?
No. NLC and TUC, they're on the same side.
Okay.
Rejecting 48,000.
Okay.
But the organized private sector,
yes.
NLC and TUC, they are talking on behalf of government workers, so to say.
Okay.
But the organized private sector are those in the employment of the private sector, like the multinationals, the companies, all those people.
I know what you mean.
So 54,000 is what they are proposing, based on the fact that their own is not whether you come to work or you don't come to work, your money will be paid. But with the organized private sector, they know that you work and eat. It is what you work that you will earn.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying they are being reasonable. 54,000.
Remember those far off years, we used to know something as payee.
Yeah, pay as you earn. And that one has to do with tax.
Yeah.
So basically, I think rather than walkouts, TUC, NLC should come back to the table, because you can't say minimum wage in Canada is $2,000. Nigeria should be
100,000.
Rent in Canada or US or UK is paid on a monthly basis. People in UK, people pay minimum of 400 pounds per room per month. So how much is that? 400 pounds. That's about 800,000 naira per month. So the minimum wage in UK is about, I think, 15, 16 pounds per hour. They pay per hour. But do we pay per hour here? Do we pay rent per month in Nigeria? No. So we should compare apples with apples, not orange with pawpaw or mango with sweet potato. So and that's why I said I will listen more to Festus Usifo, the TUC president, who I think is rational, and he has this private sector inkling orientation. So Ajero should not continue to act the mouthpiece of a Labour Party. It should speak on behalf of the Nigerian workers and propose what is reasonable that the federal government can also look at. But I also believe that 48,000 is too small. The federal government negotiating team should up the ante, led by the former head of the civil service of the Federation.
We must go to our next story, but not before reminding the two major parties here that you can meet somewhere in the middle. I know it is possible.
Yes, it's possible.
It is possible
Yes,
to meet somewhere in the middle.
It's possible. Of course, they'll still come back.
That is why we are saying that the organized labor should still go back, And I think from what I heard, the federal government did not shut the door completely. They said, okay, no, let's go. It's negotiation. That's why it's called a negotiating team, the committee.
It's a 37 panel headed by the.
They have to keep talking and talking. They have to look at all the indices, parameters, everything.
All right.
That is around.
We have another caller. Mahmoud is reaching us from Lagos here. Mahmoud, good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, the moderator.
Yeah.
And I want to greet my good friend Jamiu and Asuko.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, sir.
We have been missing for a long time for journalists and girls.
Yes, I've been on break.
I don't want to contribute this 48,000 the federal government is offering is rubbish. It's rubbish. Well, how much is the federal government paying the senators? The homologous amount of money that they are taking per month home. And then the cost of governance. So if the federal government does not want to take care of its citizens, I think, the Ajero and the Labour should go and occupy the two houses. So everybody should go and rest. There's just no governance. Look at the inflation rate, and they put the inflation rate 33%. Inflation rate, and 40% put inflation rate.
All right, Mahmoud, many thanks. We got you first time too. We got you first time. Thank you very kindly.